Hello everyone, I'm Dave Bohadas and I'm here to show you how to solve problems involving the effects of temperature on the resistance of conductor. So, in my previous video, I categorically mentioned that you only need the formulas on the left side of your screens to solve all problems, related to the effects of temperature on the resistance. The one on the right is not necessary. Now, in my experience, starting when I was a student like you until now, even during my preparation for the licensure examination, I always use these two formulas. I only use the formula on your left when alpha T1 or the temperature coefficient of resistance is given. And of course, one of the other four variables is asked in the problem. However, I realized that such a formula is redundant. Of course, you can always use all three formulas, but my point here is I would like to realize something. For beginners like you, it is important to realize that only two formula is needed for you to solve all problems related to the, the effects of temperature on the resistance of conductors, right? Okay, we will thoroughly examine the formula which can be seen on your screen. For beginners, it is troublesome to choose which is R1, R2, T1, and T2. Of course, the inferred absolute temperature or capital T in this formula is either given in the problem or you have memorized it. Now, when choosing R1, R2, T1, and T2, I always use the strategy which is based on the availability of known data. So it is tempting to use higher values such as 100 degrees Celsius and its corresponding resistance as, of course, T2 and R2 because it is how we usually label our data in most of our problem solving. So we tend to use higher values for the second situation, that is R2 and T2. But I tell you, my strategy is always assign R1 and T1 for instances or situations where temperature and resistance are known. So whether it is a higher or lower values, as long as resistance and temperature are known, that's automatically R1 and T1. So again, when resistance and temperature are known for that situation, automatically those are R1 and T1. Now, with R1 and T1 known or assigned, probably what is asked in the problem is either R2 and T2, right? So it is easier for you to work with T2 and R2 because it is found in the numerator of this formula, right? So now this strategy has worked well with me in the past 20 years. Now. This is one of my secret now. So this may perfectly work out well with you even in your mathematics and your other courses, right? Now we'll try this problem now. So a coil of copper wire has a resistance of 62 ohms at a room temperature of 24 degrees Celsius. Letter A, what will be its resistance at 80 degrees Celsius? Letter B, what will be its resistance at negative 20 degrees Celsius? Now, as was previously mentioned, we need to assign R1 and T1 for the known values, right? So that is why, as you can see in your screen, 62 ohms will be our R1 and 24 degrees Celsius will be our T1. Of course, you have memorized the inferred absolute value of copper, okay? So that's 234.5. Because why you need to memorize it? The vast majority of our wires are made of copper, right? Now, as you can see also, I picked the inferred absolute temperature for annealed copper. Why annealed? Why not hard drawn? So this is because annealed is the better grade for copper. Remember this, guys. If it is not specified what grade of copper is used in the problem, you have to assume it is annealed. Okay? Now, going back to this problem. So, of course, we will be solving this problem now using the formula right here. Okay, I can write it right here. So, wait. This is R2 should over R1, right? This is equal to T plus T2 over T plus T1. Right. Now, we have R1, we have T1, we have also the inferred absolute temperature, capital T. So we are asked to solve for, of course, in letter A, we are asked to solve for R2, no, when your T2 is equal to, of course, 80 degrees Celsius, right? And in letter B, same parameter is asked, that's R2, when your T2 is equal to negative 20 degrees Celsius. Okay? So, the solution is actually very easy. So, for letter A, of course, we'll use that formula. So, we have R2 right here is equal to R1. Of course, multiply R1. So, your R1 is 62 ohms. Multiply it with the quantity 234.5. 234. This is 2, 3, 4. Wait. 234.5, right, plus 80 over 234.5 plus 24. All right. Now, if you use your calculator, you will get a number 75.5 ohms. All right. Now, for letter B as well, for letter B, same process. You have you need to solve for R2, but you have R1, which is 61 ohms. Multiply it with 234.5. This time this is minus 20. Okay, and this is 234.5 plus your T1, which is 24. Now, if you use your calculator, you will get 51.5 ohms. This really speaks of um, the sloping upward to the right triangle in the temperature resistance effect. So that is, uh, if you have a 62 ohm uh, copper, if you will heat it up, your temperature, for example, goes up to 80 degrees Celsius, it will the resistance will goes goes up to 75 degrees Celsius. If you cool it down, say to negative 50 degrees Celsius, your resistance will decrease to uh, to 51.5 degrees Celsius. All right. Now we will also examine this formula found on your screen. So this is of course the formula to calculate the temperature coefficient of resistance, or what we call alpha T1. As you can see, your alpha T1 depends on the actual temperature of your conductor. The higher the temperature, the smaller your alpha T1 gets, as your denominator is getting bigger, right? Of course, alpha T1 depends also on the inferred absolute temperature of your conductor, or the capital T. How to use this? How to use this formula? Let us see in the next example. Now, what if you are asked to solve for the temperature coefficient of resistance of aluminum at 2 degrees Celsius? Now, remember, if you will solve for you are asked to solve for temperature of coefficient of resistance. The formula is this one over T absolute plus T1, right? So you need two temperatures. What you have here is only one. So what is, for example, for this example, what is 2 degrees Celsius? So of course your 2 degrees Celsius will be your T1, right? That's 2 degrees Celsius. Now, what is T? Absolute temperature. Absolute inferred temperature for aluminum. So if you look at our table, that's 236, negative 236 degrees Celsius, right? But we will use positive. Okay. So this is easy. You need to solve for alpha T1 here. Right. Okay. So this is just a direct substitution. If this is, or you will get 0.0042 per degrees Celsius. Okay. Now, this problem right here is quite very interesting, right? So, here it is. The shunt field winding of a shunt generator has a resistance of 80 ohms at 20 degrees Celsius. 80 ohms at 20 degrees Celsius. So, that possibly our R1 and T1, right? Now, after several hours of continuous operation, the winding temperature rises to 50 degrees Celsius. So, it by 30, no? 30 degrees, increases by 30 degrees Celsius. How much is the winding resistance under this condition? It means at 50 degrees Celsius. Assume that temperature coefficient of copper to be 0.004 per degree Celsius at 0 degrees Celsius. Right? Now, what we have here, as I have always said, right, is that whenever you have resistance and temperature given, so assume this are R1, in this case your R1 is equal to 80 ohms, right? And your T1 pair corresponding temperature is 20 degrees Celsius, okay? So after several hours of operation, uh, the winding temperature rises to 50 degrees Celsius. So that could be our T2, okay? Our T2 is equal to 50 degrees Celsius. Okay? So how much is the winding resistance under this condition? So that means find T2. What is asked here is we are asked to solve for R2. How much winding resistance? When T2 of course is equal to 20 degrees Celsius. Okay? So another given here is that our temperature coefficient of resistance, that's alpha T1. Now if you remember, our alpha T1 here is equal to 0.004 per degree Celsius. Okay, at 0 degree Celsius. Of course, this is alpha at 0 degree Celsius. Okay, this is 0 right here. Alpha T1 or alpha at 0 degree Celsius. Right. Now, this is crucial because if we have two formulas. First, we have R2 is equal to R1 times the quantity T plus T2 over T plus T1. Alright. And we also have uh, R2 is equal to R1 times the quantity 1 plus alpha T1, right? If you remember, this one is T2 minus T1. Okay. It is important to remember. Now, if you will use this formula. Remember, this T1 right here has to be the same with this temperature here. If if uh if you will use this formula, this one right here, you will use this. This has to be the same temperature here. Okay? So if we have our R1, right? We have our R1 which is equal to 80 degrees Celsius, our T1 which is 20 degrees Celsius. Okay? But our alpha is not at 20 degrees Celsius. It is at 2 degrees Celsius. I mean 0 degrees Celsius. So it is not compatible here because this number right here, this is 20 degrees Celsius. Your alpha here should be also 20 degrees at 20 degrees Celsius, but you're given with alpha at 10 degrees Celsius. I mean 0 degrees Celsius. So there's quite a catch. No, there's quite a catch, right? So what we basically do is, of course, as I have said, we can always use this formula, although this is not advisable, but we can always use this one. Okay, so it is assumed we will solve this using this formula. Let's examine this formula. We have R1, we have T1. We also have T2, right? T2 is at 20 degrees Celsius. T I mean this is by the way, this is 50 degrees Celsius. Right. T2 at 50 degrees Celsius. We have T1 at 20 degrees Celsius, R1 at 80 ohms, and we have T2 at 50 degrees Celsius. We don't have inferred absolute temperature. But if you notice, your alpha at 0 degrees Celsius should be equal to 1 over T, capital T, plus, of course, 0, right? Because the temperature is at 0 degrees Celsius. So, you can actually solve for T, right? Which is now equal to 1 because T plus 0 is just T, this number, right? Now, if you will try this, 1 over, that's 0.004, right? If you try to use your calculator, 1 over 0.004, that's 250, okay? So that's 250. Your inferred absolute temperature is 250. All right. This thing right here, wait. So this has to be 250, okay? Degrees Celsius. Now, if you notice, you can use this formula now. So you get R2 is equal to R1, which is 80 ohms, right? 80 times quantity T, which is 250 now. 250 plus T plus T2. T2 is 50, of course, over 250, which is T plus 20 degrees Celsius, right? So it's now equal to, of course, it is equal to 88.89 ohms, right? Check your calculators. Okay, 8.9. Okay, so if you will solve this problem using this formula, okay, so you need to solve first your alpha at T1. No, we have R1 which is 80 ohms, we have T1 which is 20 ohms, we have T2 which is 50 degrees Celsius, but we don't have alpha T1 because your alpha T1 here should be alpha at 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, but since you are given with alpha at 20, no, you of course this is T right here plus 20. So assuming we have already calculated this one, no? So of course you have 250 right here. So this is 1 over 250 plus 20, right? So your alpha 20 degrees Celsius is equal to 1 over 270, right? Which is equal to 0.0037, right? So this is 0.0037. Okay, you can use this one now. So your R2 now is equal to your R1, which is 80, right? Times 1 plus 0.0037 times quantity T2, which is 50, minus T1, which is 20. Okay, and you will use your calculator. That's 80 times the quantity 1 plus 0.0037 times 30. That's 50 minus 20, right? So you will get, um, of course, 88.9. Okay, you will get the same number, 88.9. All right.